Hello friends, welcome to the channel Vales&Tales and today we will discuss one of the prominent novels by M.G. Vassanji. M.G. Vassanji was born in Kenya and now he's living in Canada. He has done PhD from MIT and now he's a full-fledged writer, and he traces his ancestry to India and he calls himself Afro-Asian. Since he calls himself Afro-Asian and his writings has depiction of India as well, so his writings are often categorized under the umbrella term of literature of Indian diaspora. Now this book was published in 1994 and this book has a very engrossing and gripping tale. When you will read the novel, you will find out that it's not a simple writing. It is a quite complicated when you are reading it in part, but when you are reading it in continuity, then you will realize that it is the novel which is so engrossing, and the structure of the novel is very poignant, and if you go step by step, then you will understand what the writer wants to convey through this writing. Talking about the structure, when you open this book, you will find a map of Africa, then you will see a dedication, then you will see an epigraph. This epigraph is from Omar Khayyam's The Rubaiyat, and this epigraph is very important since this novel contains the story of Africans, and you all know that Africa is a country which is not regarded as at very high terms. You have seen that there is always a binary of white and black, of civilized and uncivilized, and Africa is often considered as one of the uncivilized countries. So the epigraph has been taken by M.G. Vassanji to highlight the importance of equality, to highlight that Africans and Americans, they are no different. When you categorize them as barbaric, you could not do so because the barbaric element can be found in any community. So this epigraph actually say that I passed by a potter the day before last. He was ceaselessly plying his skill with the clay, and what the blind do not see, I could, my father's clay in every potter's hand. He's saying that I was seeing a potter and the potter was working with his skill, and what no one can see but I can see, that he is having the same clay. So same clay and potter signifies that we all human beings are made of the same qualities, same clay, we all are same. There is no as such big difference, that we categorize one group into the elevated class and another group as the degraded class. So it's not like the case. Then we have a prologue. In the prologue, we get to know that the prologue began in 1988, where we come to know that there is a school teacher, P.S. Fernandez, who is a retired school teacher now. He met one of his students whose name is Firoz, and Firoz hand over a diary to his teacher and asks him to decode the diary, to understand, to make us understand that what this diary actually contains. So, and then we have different parts in the novel which talks about different things. So the novel is actually divided into two parts, part 1 and part 2. The two parts are untitled, but the parts are further divided into sections, and all the sections have different names. Part 1 is divided into two sections. The first section has the name The Administrator. Now, who is the administrator here? The administrator is a British colonial administrator whose name is Alfred Corbin. So this part revolves around the exploits of Alfred Corbin at this place, Kikunu, right? And how he is dealing with the people of Kikunu, about his interaction with the natives of Kikunu, and what all he has seen and his experiences through his diary. Nevertheless, one thing that you have to remember is this: there are certain, because the diary is very old, the opening of the novel is 1988 and the diary contains the record of 1913 to 1914. So it's almost 60-70 years old. So diary has certain certain contents that cannot be decoded. So he is filling, this teacher, P.S. Fernandez, is filling those facts with his imagination. So history is going through in this novel the history of Africa, as well as the imaginative elements has been engrossed within the history by the narrator P.S. Fernandez, who is a retired school teacher. Alright, after the first section, the administrator, which is divided into 8 chapters, we have miscellany. Miscellany is the additional information that the writers want the readers to have. Then we have second section. The second section is called the Great Riddle. And the Great Riddle actually talks about the Great War, that is the First World War. And this section tells us about the impact of World War on Africans. Now, another thing which is very important for you to understand, that Africa was not directly involved in the war, since it is colonized by Britishers as well as by the Germans, and both these powers, the Britishers and the Germans, were in direct conflict with each other. So Africa also became part of it. In this section, we'll also get to know that Indians Indian soldiers were also employed, were also sent to this place, Africa, to fight with the Germans, right? Because India was under the British colonial rule at that time. I'm talking about First World War, that is 1914 to 1918. So this section talks about the impact of war on the people and how the Britishers are dealing with the natives at that time, and how these people, these Africans who have no have nothing to do with this war, but they are being dragged in the war. So this is the perks of the colonialism, right? Now the second part, after these chapters, after the 6 chapters, there is another and miscellany 2, that gives us additional information. Now the part 2 is divided into 3 sections. The first section is the father and the son. The second section is called Ali and Rita, and the third section is called Grigory. Now who are these people? I'll just give you a glimpse of the story, then I will talk about the major themes. After these sections, we have epilogue. Of course, epilogue is very important, right? Now, the thing that you have to remember is this novel covers the time span of 1913 to 1988. So 1913, colonial Africa, then we have First World War, then we have the post-colonial Africa, right, when the natives have controlled the Africa, and now 1988. Talking about the story of the novel, this novel actually talks about gives us the story through the diary of Alfred Corbin. Alfred Corbin has mentioned a lot of people in his novels like Mariamo, Nur Muhammad Pipa, and this narrator P.S. Fernandez. Since this diary contains the record of only 1 year, from 1913 to 1914, and he's a school teacher, he's curious and retired school teacher, have nothing to do. Now he's retired and full of curiosity to know that what happens to the people. What happens to this lady Mariama, what happens to this man Nur Muhammad Pipa, who are being mentioned in the diary. So he started his research, and during his research he got to know many secrets, that secrets of the family, of course. And because Mariamo and Pipa, they are a married couple, they are husband and wife, so he got to know a lot about the secrets of their life. Moreover, it is very interesting to know from this book that it's not only the secrets of this family that we get to know, the secrets of the narrator, that is P.S. Fernandez. We also get to know about his secrets. So this book of secrets, this is called Book of Secrets because it contains lot of secrets, not only of one family, but all the major characters who are in one way or the other dealing with this diary. So this diary, it is being described in the prologue that this diary is Kitabu Cha Siri Zetu, that is the book of secrets, and whosoever reads this book, it becomes his book, right? So P.S. Fernandez started with the the journey of P.S. Fernandez started to decode about the life of the people. Of course, not only of the people who are being mentioned in the diary, but of the diarist Alfred Corbin itself. That what happened to Corbin after he stopped writing this diary. So he get to know about his own history, his own secrets, right? So another thing that you have to remember is the history of Africa is traced very well. That how Africans were treated during British colonial rule, how they were being treated under the German colonial rule, what happened to their places, what kind of development has started under the colonial rule, and what happened to them during post-colonial era. That is when there is shift of power from the colonizers to the natives, to the Africans. Then what happened to Africans then? All right. Now this is a diasporic literature, and the major community around which this story revolves is Indian Shamsi community, right? So the Shamsi community is actually a diasporic community in Africa who trace its roots to India, and this narrator is also a teacher from Goa. He is also an immigrant who is living there. That's why it is the diasporic literature, because the major characters are diasporic characters. And now let's dive into the story. This man, Alfred Corbin, he is the ADC, that is Administrative District Commissioner, and he is doing his jobs, he's giving his services at this place, Kikunu, right? Now he is with his cook called Thomas, living happily with the people. People are also very happy with him, and he is being sent there to see whether this Kikunu has the potential to be developed as a town. The people of Kikunu, that is the Shamsi community, who is being led by this Mukhi, whose name is Jamal, they want this place to be given the status of a town, and he is being sent by the Britishers, this man Alfred Corbin, to see that whether this place deserves to be become a town. And he came there. People were very happy that soon our place will be called a town and will get its due share of development. but things have passed, but things have turned out to be worst for the people of Kikunu. And how, let's see here. There's one lady called Mariamo, and this lady, after a few months, became the house help for Alfred Corbin. And this lady is very different among all the other ladies in Africa. She is very beautiful, innocent, and Alfred Corbin was very attracted to her. And this lady, her marriage is due with a man called Noor Muhammad Pipa. Noor Muhammad Pipa is not the native of Kikunu. Kikunu is a place. Noor Muhammad Pipa is native of Moshi, who has come to this place, Kikunu, just to marry Mariamo. So after this marriage of Mariamo and this man Pipa, Noor Muhammad Pipa realized on the night of the marriage that her lady, her wife, is not a virgin, and he made hue and cry of that. People gathered there. The Mukhi, the Mukhi is Jamali, and his wife Khanum, they all came there, and along with other prominent persons, because this lady Mariamo is the niece of Jamali and Khanum. So he said that she is not virgin, you have bluffed me, and I don't want this lady as my wife. And the stepfather of Mariamo further this thing by saying that yes, you can be true, because I have seen this lady Mariamo in the bedroom of Alfred Corbin. So it might be true that she has lost her virginity with Alfred Corbin. Nevertheless, things have settled down, and after gradually he started accepting him as his wife, this man Noor Muhammad Pipa. And this man, another this administrator Alfred Corbin, was also transferred to some other place, and he has also decided to move to his place Moshi, this man Pipa, along with his wife. But World War I started, and the borders got closed, and he has to live with his wife Mariamo. So after many months, they welcomed a son whose name is Ali. And again, the same the same doubt that has made home in this man Pipa rejuvenated, because this Ali is not black in color, he is fair and having gray eyes. So he thought that this might be true, that he is like his original father, who is Alfred Corbin. So he is in lot of dilemma and disturbed. He is disturbed a lot, Pipa, that whether this is Ali is his son or the son of Alfred Corbin. And there is nothing that can what you say, remove his doubts. There is nothing that can remove the doubts of Alfred Pipa about this, but he has accepted him as he is. So the war has also started, and since he is from this place called Moshi was under the German rule, and he was being under the ground of suspicion. He is being locked up, this man Noor Muhammad Pipa. And because it was being told by the British officers that he was under the possession of German letters. So there are quite good chances that he is the informer of Germans. So he was imprisoned. He was taken to prison, and he was locked up for a night. And when he came back in the morning, he saw that Mariamo is all in the pool of blood. She is physically and sexually exploited and is murdered. And he was broken at that time. So while after doing the last rites of his wife, he was cleaning her things, and he decides to move to his place Moshi after the end of the World War. And he found a diary from Mariamo, and he realized that this diary is actually belonged to this man Alfred Corbin. And he was kind of skeptical that this diary must contain the secret, that whether Mariamo is whether Ali is his son or the son of Alfred Corbin. Since this diary is in English, he could not read and write. So he took the diary, he went to Moshi, and he told this uncle and aunt of Mariamo, that is Jamalji and Khanum, to take care of his son, that is Ali. And he said that when I'll be in a position to take care of the son, I'll come back and take my son Ali back to this place Moshi. So the other parts revolves around this. So the late part of the novel tells us what happened to Pipa, what happened to Ali, and that I will cover in the next video, because this video has already I think it has become a very extensive video. So the next part, that what happened to Pipa, what happened to Ali, and what are the secrets of P.S. Fernandez, of the narrator itself, that we get to know in the later chapters of the novel, that we will discuss in part 2. For today, this much is sufficient. All right, everyone. Thank you so much.